There are many stories about hackers. They can be good or evil or even scary. Wandering around YouTube, I found an interesting channel. Its author is called James, and he creates games in Roblox. And it ended not very well. I will not spoil, but I will say one thing. What happened at the end surprised me a lot. But before the start of my video, I ask you to subscribe to my channel and also put your like. For me, this is a huge motivation to make even more interesting videos, so please like and subscribe. In addition, in the comments, please write your opinion on what I will analyze today, and also if you have your own theories, then write them too. Let's discuss everything together. It seems that I said everything, which means we can move on to the first video of James. The first video is called Archive 1, and the description has a date that tells us that this video was recorded in 2013. James will communicate with us, use the chat, and we will understand everything only from the pop-up messages. James says, "Hi guys, I found this game called Roblox." Then he starts playing, comes across some sign that says, "Epic thing, 1 of 1,000, you don't lose anything and you don't get anything," and some red button nearby. He presses it and the tablet even closer to him starts flashing different colors. It doesn't mean anything yet, just remember this moment. Perhaps we will need it soon. But in any case, nothing has happened now and the player just goes forward and starts playing this mini-game where he just needs to slide down the platform and not crash. Such a very simple game, then he just plays, slides down, rises up, and nothing interesting happens. At the end, he is happy and says that there will be even more Roblox on this channel. This is where the video ends. Let's move on to the second video, which is called The Game, and in this video there is this sound. I think you will like it. Yeah, I think this guy definitely needs to buy himself a new microphone, or at least select it in his computer settings. Apparently there are problems with it or something else. Then he greets the audience and says, "This is my new game, which I made myself. I was messing around with it before this recording. This whole game is several buildings, a lot of weapons in the main character's inventory, and also a lot of zombies that stand nearby and need to be destroyed." So he destroys a lot of zombies and then just stands there for 10 seconds, after which he says that he eats fruit. Enjoy your meal. But then something strange happens. At the moment when he eats fruit and stands still, for some reason someone starts writing in the chat, and he writes a message. You don't see, and he doesn't send this message. It was just written and immediately deleted. Exactly at the moment when the player returned. What it was is still unclear. But in the end, he played enough and went into the house. He wants to show it. But the demonstration of the house ended with him just accidentally falling or falling on purpose. It is unclear. But in any case, he reappeared. And he wrote that you will see everything further in the next video. It seems that then the player moves away from the computer and someone else writes, "He does not see. His death is near." After which this video ends. What is happening to the main character? We know that he is a newbie who decided to play Roblox and then create his own modes, but eventually someone began to own his computer. To be more precise, someone interferes with his game and controls his chat. Someone writes messages there but does not send them, and it seems that all this happened after pressing the button. Perhaps it is the beginning of all the events. It was after this that the hacking of the main character's system began. And of course, in the end, we even saw threats. Let's move on and follow the events. The next video is called Illusion. Its description has a lot of numbers and letters, which unfortunately I couldn't decipher. Maybe you can. If anything, the link to the author is in the description. He greets the viewers and says that there is a thunderstorm here, and he also updated the game and wants to show his viewers what he did. He worked on the interior and added a few posters, but I didn't see anything interesting in them. He also added a car to move around the territory, but all this is not important for now. The next few minutes of the video, about 3 minutes, he shows what has changed. There are no special changes, just some locations were added and some of the interior has changed. Then he just stands in place and says that he will leave. But before this message he says, "Oh my god, it's gotten even worse. What are we even talking about?" Then he stands in place. Apparently now he has finally left. And then someone starts writing something, and this message looked pretty strange. Listen here. Yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. And then there's a message, "Don't interfere. He'll set an example for you." At the end, someone writes a message to James and presses the 9 button, which is simply written into the chat a few hundred times. Then the player comes to. Apparently, he returned to the computer and writes a message about what's going on. It's a thunderstorm again. That's where the video ends. Although no, the video doesn't end. There's another message at the end. It's me. Who is this? Who's writing this? What's going on in these videos? Obviously, the main character was hacked. That's 100%. Now let's move on to find out who did it. Well, let's keep an eye on these anomalies. The next video is called Game Number 2, and what's interesting is that absolutely nothing happens there. The main thing is that the hero just shows us a new game, where there is nothing unusual, he just shows his new game. So I don't see much point in somehow analyzing this moment. Let's just skip it and move on to the next videos. We only have 3 of them left. The next video is called Old Recording, and in the comments it says this is an old recording that was damaged. I just rewrote it, and when this was originally published, it was also supposed to be the first video, but I'll come back to this place soon. I'll explain a little. This is the first video of this author, although it was posted later, but this is the beginning of the story. Let's study what was at the beginning. Perhaps we will find out who exactly hacked the main character. Here, James says that this video will be recorded together with a friend, but he needs to wait a little, and he begins to wait for him. After some time, his friend finally comes in and he greets him, after which they go together to inspect the territory. It looks like James has built some new house here, and he tells his friend what is here, and the friend is simply surprised by what James has done. Nothing unusual happens here. But then James decides to climb a large tree, perhaps to look down on his house, but he finds some kind of strange core. Moreover, when he sees it, he is very surprised and says that he did not put it here. He does not know where it came from. His friend decides to see what it is. He starts climbing the tree, comes closer, and at the end someone comes to their server. This is where the video ends. The next video continues the story of this location. The main character returns to this place again and talks about it. Then some player comes to the server and greets the main character, after which he greets him back. Together they move towards that very house, but then the main character stops for some reason. He looks at the interior and says, "God, it all looks different somehow." Then he apparently doesn't care anymore and asks his friend, "Why are you typing your messages so strangely?" To which the friend doesn't answer for a long time, just looks ahead, and then he finally speaks. And this is the core message. I think you immediately remembered that sphere on the tree, and let me not drag out the ending, let's move on to the last video. Here the main character finds himself in an unknown place where there are many black roads. I think that this video starts right after the last one. He doesn't understand where he is, but still starts looking around. After a long journey, he notices a player in the distance who starts moving in his direction. We remember this player. It was he who came in at the moment when the 2 friends found the core on the tree. I think that it is he who hacks the system, and he looks extremely creepy. He comes closer to the main character. He immediately greets him. But in response, he gets silence, and the main character asks another question. "Okay, what do you want from me?" This strange man says, "I am the core. Let's go on a little journey." He starts running to the main character. This is where the video ends, and there are no more videos. Nothing has been released for 2 weeks, which means that the death that this monster was talking about seems to have happened. Now let's put the whole story together and understand what happened. The main character is a newbie. He decided to play Roblox, and a strange sphere appeared in his server. The core, which gradually began to hack the main character, he began to write strange messages. That is, someone began to write for him. In the end, he met this hacker, and apparently his friend was also hacked because he began to write about the core. A lot of unusual things happened. It was really creepy. But what happened to the main character is unknown. Perhaps the hacker achieved his goal. This is where my video ends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, put your like, and write your theories in the comments. I think you probably got some ideas or maybe understood more than I did. Thank you very much for watching this video. Bye-bye.